Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is the Week 74 update for the Darth Loquitur account. I update this account's progress every week, go through all the characters that we're building, teams that we're working on, and talk about plans for the future so y'all can follow along. If you got questions or comments about this, please leave them down below. I'll answer them in future videos so that we can all continue to learn from this account's progress. With that in mind, let's get in there and see what happened with the account this week. I did have Mace Windu ready to relic already right before the lock-in for Grand Arena. Couldn't resist the temptation to go ahead and put Relic 3 onto the Mace before lock-in for GAC. So for this last week, we did have the Relic Mace. We're just going to take him to Relic 3. He gets there. That gets us the upgrade. We could take him to 5 if we want to put him in a Rancor team someday, but for right now, we'll just park him at 3. There also was a Galactic Challenge where we needed to have 3 First Order ships in a fleet in order to get some of the fleet completions. And I felt like I had a couple of these First Order ships lying around. If I just unlock them and put them in reinforcements for the fleet, oftentimes that gives you the fleet completion. So we did that. We got ourselves some First Order ships. Here we're on box 8. We just want to get to box 9. I didn't think I could go all the way to box 10 and beat the final. And I tried it a couple times, but with these, let's say, non-synergy reinforcements, I wasn't able to beat it on level 10. So here we just go in. We fight through the combat. We've got those 3 First Order ships somewhere in our lineup, and that's enough to get the feat completion. So we're going to go through here, get a victory, and there you see feat completions, and we go to box 9. So upgraded our box by 1 just for unlocking a couple ships. That's worth doing. Alright, working on the Clone Sergeant as our next relic target. Then in the journey guide we got Bo-Katan. We still need these Mark 9 data pads everywhere. So I'm looking at it. We need data pads in both of these slots that we need for her. So at the end of the day, I've got some extra crystals. This piece is 15 crystals per shard in the shop, which I always say is a good deal. You can buy any of those pieces that cost 15, and it's pretty good. So we could craft either one of these. In the end, I'm going to craft the simpler of the two just in case I need those Mark IV comlinks somewhere else before I need to get Bo-Katan to gear 12. Commander Ahsoka Tano, we're going to go in her right away. As soon as we're done with the journey guide, we're going to see what we can do. And we get enough for 2. So we don't even scout the gear too much. We just kind of close our eyes and hit those upgrade buttons and take Ahsoka Tano up to Commander Ahsoka Tano to gear 12. Here we're working a little bit on this Night Sister zombie. Looking at her gear, trying to figure out if it's okay to go to gear 8. It is. And then on gear 8, we start to have some of the rare gear on her, so we'll hold off. We won't try to push her up anymore this week. Taking a look through our teams, want to get this Dark Trooper up and running so that we can have some more power in the Imperial Trooper team when we're separating out other troopers to the Iden Versio team. Take an upgrade on Mara Jade on the way through. Go back to the Dark Trooper. And I figure it's time to get some mods on him so that we can actually use him in Grand Arena. But I've modded a couple characters with offense, and I find that I'm really not in a position to get an offense mod set. And for the Dark Trooper, it really does need to be an offense set. The speed doesn't matter that much. Just getting his offense as high as possible is what gives him the damage. So everywhere I look, I need these Mark III projectors. So he needs 2 different pieces with that. And during this session of account building, I did seriously think about clicking the button here and buying a couple of these again. It's 15 per shard, 300. It takes 20 of them. That's 15 crystals per shard. So it's a good deal. But I pass on those for now. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the discussion about future plans. All right, we do also want to start investing a little bit in this endurance. I've recently started or hit upon the idea of using the Galactic Republic. I had been splitting my separatists under the Malevolence into two fleets, one with Geos and one with just whatever's left over from Malevolence. I like to have the Malevolence as a good fleet, so I really don't want to continue to do that. And it occurred to me that I can split my Galactic Republic, and I can take a certain fleet with Negotiator that I know I want to play on offense, or potentially I can put two Galactic Republic defenses down. Anyway, if I have the endurance, I can split the Galactic Republic, so I'm going to work on that over the course of the next few weeks. Here we're working on Night Sisters, trying to decide how much commitment to give to them. We're going to work on this First Order team a little bit. Again, I do want to develop that Fin Poe defense that's been so effective for me on my main account. To get the BB-8 in there, we need the First Order. So we're trying to get together a First Order team. We've been working on this just passively in the background for a while now, and we've got enough of the First Order characters now that we can actually go do the event. We'll put some stars onto Finn, Resistance Hero Finn, and just get that going a little bit. We will train up the Asajj Ventress for the Night Sisters team. And again, so what we're doing is we're just kind of working on higher priorities first, and then we're kind of walking down through here with these extra teams that I want to build, and we're just putting some of the extra resources, gear, whatever we've got, into these characters. So here we're looking at the upgrades on Asajj. She keeps getting the button lit up, but at the end of the day, there's some gear that we don't want to chew up, so we're going to leave her there. Then we go into the journey guide for BB-8. We do have these First Order. And remember, I farmed that red Sith Trooper a very long time ago. He's still like gear 11. He's pretty low gear. But we did farm up that Sith Trooper, so we're able to go in here and work our way through a bunch of different levels on this BB-8 journey. And we're going to be able to get him to 5 stars. That gets us the ability to unlock him. So whenever we're ready to unlock him, we can go ahead and get him going. Now BB-8's not exactly the ideal thing for the Fin Poe team. So with the Finn lead, you really want Hero Finn, Hero Poe, and then 2 other good resistance damage dealers to round out that team. But if I'm going to build resistance, I want to build BB-8, I want to build R2. They'll probably go into different teams eventually, but I would rather build characters that I know for sure I'm going to find use for at some point than to invest in a couple other resistance characters that I may or may not want. Then we go into Mara Jade, and this Omicron for Territory Wars is really fantastic. And I've got 3 Omicrons on this account for myself and GAC. So I figure I owe the guild at least 1 good Omicron on Mara Jade. That allows you to set a defense in Territory Wars. And with Mara Jade, she goes first and she takes the protection off of the enemy leader unless it's a Galactic Legend. So if you don't bring a Galactic Legend in against that Mara Jade Empire team, it will go first, and they'll put debuffs everywhere. Vader goes, Force Crush, Merciless Massacre, Palpatine goes, and you may never get a turn. So for some Territory Wars, other guilds really have a hard time beating those teams without using Galactic Legends. So what you do as a guild, you put up a wall of very difficult teams. Let's say it's very typical to make an entire zone out of Darth Revan. And then behind it, you put all your Omicron characters, your Phasma teams, your Mara Jade Omicron teams. And if the opposing guild has used up a bunch of their Galactic Legends fighting through the Revans, or potentially a Galactic Legend zone on the bottom front, then they'll be faced with all of these Omicron teams where they have to have a good counter, or they're really hard to beat, and they've got to burn some of their best teams. And that just makes everything then behind that better and better defense. So interesting Omicron. We're going to take it. We're going to support the guild with this one. And I think if you do a guild Omicron for every 2 or 3 you do for yourself in GAC, I think that's fair. All right, so at week 74, we're at 3.21 million galactic power, 40,000 added from last week. 30 relics now, 43 zetas. We've still got C and Watt in the top 100. We're getting pushed out. There's more and more galactic legends coming in all the time. We haven't refined our C team to beat the SLKR teams. Because of my focus on Kenobi, I figure when I get Kenobi done and get his team built, we'll get back somewhere in the top 50. Maybe we'll get top 20. Again, squad placement isn't that important. It's just getting you more squad currency for the store. If we can get it, it's nice. We'll take it. So we're going to look forward to getting the Kenobi team and getting that back on track. I would rather do that than sink even more resources into trying to get C up and running. But basically for the C team, I need to develop a much better tank. So I either need to take the Royal Guard to higher relic level, or I need to start building like a Sith Empire trooper, or maybe even a shore trooper. But I really need a better tank to go in that team to make the SLKR counter work. And I just don't want to build those tanks while I'm building into the JMK. Next week's plan for farming, all the stuff we've been farming, Vulture Droid, Hand Bomber. BTL should finish up next week. I think we've only got like 3 shards left to get on that, so it's very close to being done. IG-2000, the Xanadu Blood, Cara Dune, and IG-11, of course, for the Beskar Armor Mandalorian, which we're going to need if we're going to go into Executor at some point. In Fleet, we're finishing off the Mandalorian. He's also close, so I think within the next week we should finish him off to 100. Cantina, we've got just farming for signal data right now. We do need to wrap back around to the Gar Saxon and the Super Commando at some point. They're for the Gauntlet Starfighter. They'll also make a team around Bo-Katan that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be effective, but if I have to build them for a ship anyway, then they can go on the Bo-Katan team. So I do want to farm them out to 7 stars when I get some free signal data. For mods, I'm going to work just on the offense mods, since I couldn't even find any offense mods to put on the Dark Trooper that were good enough. So we'll farm offense mods for a couple weeks and see if we can get that Dark Trooper up and running. And we got a couple other characters that we could probably remod from speed to offense if we had good offense sets. So we'll do a cycle for this. Refreshes, same pattern. We do 3 every day and then do the Cantina refreshes when the guild objective for the day is Cantina or All Energy. Still doing 3 prestige a week out of the squad store, buying some gear there. In the fleet store, we started to build up quite a big bank so that we can always get the Razor Crest shards whenever they show up. We are buying cargo ships on this, which basically means the Ghost and the Phantom, and just making sure that we can get enough cargo ships. We still haven't got that event completed to the max level yet, so we'll get those. I'm also pulling some first order stuff from there, some ships that I need, just other stuff that we're going to build someday, finishing out the Wedge and the Bigs. Once I start on the JML journey, we'll need those ships. So just picking stuff up out of that shop. And anything left goes to Zetas. And then, of course, I'm feeding the shard shop with everything else. I set up a restructure about 4 weeks ago. This is the 4th week of the restructure. And a lot of the teams that I started building, I pushed the characters up to gear 7 or 8, in some cases gear 9. And at that level, a lot of these characters are stuck on holo projectors. So if we want to continue to develop any new teams, we've really got to get these Mark III holo projectors under control, and I need a lot of them. So I was looking to solve that problem or potentially buy a few of them. And then I thought, once we get this JMK unlock going, we're obligated to farm on the light side. I I don't think anybody wants to do a bunch of hard farms when they got a Galactic Legend on the hook, so you pretty much drop everything. And we can just farm 9F, which has the hollow projectors and that stuff on it. And we'll just farm the heck out of that node to help us solve some of these lower level, lower tier hollow projector problems while we're farming up the tickets for the JMK journey. So kind of kill two birds with one stone. If I really need something within the next few weeks while I'm finishing out to get the JMK journey underway, then I may buy a couple of them out of the shop. And again, let's say you buy a couple out of the shop and then later you overfarm them. Because we can always trade those in for the Erodium heat sinks with the scavenger, never feel bad about having too many of them. So we may buy some of those out of the shop for 300 each. And then the Mara Jade Omicron, again, even with a low gear Omicron, it's a big threat in territory war. So 3 for myself, 1 for the guild. I may also do another guild one later. We'll see what characters we get that are fair for that. Phasma's pretty good, but I really haven't built up a First Order team yet, and I don't know if I want to build up a whole First Order team in addition to the Omicron. So I'll keep that under consideration, and we'll look for the next really good Omicron for Territory Wars. All right, and then I signed off here with the comment that the reason why we want to contribute more in Territory Wars is because droid brains are delicious. We need to get all of those we can. That's going to wrap up the account review for this week. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Join us over on the Discord if you haven't done that already. We got a great community over there. Can help anybody answer questions, or if you just want to go over there and look at the memes for a laugh, you know, whatever you like. It's a fun community. Hope to see you over there. Hit the like button, subscribe on the way out if you haven't done that already. That helps me, it helps the channel. It's for free, and I would appreciate it. All right, thank you all, and I will see you in the next holocron.